New Year's Day 2017, and we were in Chitwan. Preeti and I went for a walk through a local village. You can see their houses are made from a bamboo frame covered in mud, and they stencil pictures like their hands or draw things on them to decorate them. Some of the local animals that they have to help them: goats and ducks. There were lots of ducks around. And the Nepali version of the Hills Hoist, using the local fence to dry their washing. When we arrived at the river, we saw some crocodile. Chitwan National Park is famous for the one-horn rhino. This is as close as we got. This thing that looks like a rock in the bush was actually one of the rhinos. On our walk, we also saw this elephant camp. This was for male elephants that help in rescues. They feed them these capsules of reeds, and inside the capsule they put rice and molasses and then bind them all together. And the elephants really like them. This is sunset over Chitwan National Park. The next day we went for a canoe ride on one of these dugout canoes. Preeti, being a bird watcher, was able to show me all the birds along the way. It was very peaceful on the river, except for when we saw these big crocodiles. They made us sit up and take notice. Chitwan Park was the first national park in Nepal in 1973. It's about 932 square kilometres. Preeti tells me that this is a shell duck, but we also saw some migrating ducks from Siberia. This kingfisher was beautiful, very vibrant in his colours. This was a pond heron. And we saw lots of spotted deer. We also wandered along and found a government breeding program for elephants. This cute little one was having trouble getting the food in his mouth like most kids. When we went back to the hotel, I saw this beehive, a natural beehive that was about 1 metre long. In the afternoon, we went for a jeep safari. It was a bit rough in places. We saw this turtle, but the lakes were beautiful. There was a gharial breeding centre. A gharial is an Asian crocodile that has a very long, thin snout. And apparently this is a lesser adjutant stork. We had to cross back on the river on one of these dugout canoes. And in the evening we went to a cultural performance. So 3rd of January and we're off to Pokhara, another trip around the hills, about 5 hours to go 150 kilometres. You'd see temples on top of hills, and we crossed a number of rivers. Lots of prayer flags everywhere. And this is a little place where we stopped to have something for morning tea. Looking back over the river, the local village. And there was a bridge crossing the river, so Preeti and I went for a walk, just a pedestrian bridge. Then we reached Pokhara, the second biggest city in Nepal. See the mountains in the background? They were stunning. That's Machu Picchu, you can see. Pokhara's got about 230,000 people and has as many visitors every year. This is the long-tailed shrike, Preeti tells me. And this is one of my favourite photos. There's also a lake there that they use for hydro, and you can get on these boats and go paddling up the river. This is the Bindaveshni temple with Machu Picchu in the background, with a stupa next door. Lots of mix of religion and religion side by side in Nepal. It was a nice temple complex, and Preeti had a tikka done. Machu Picchu, very imposing. Then we went to the Seti River Gorge. Seti, that's quite deep down there. Just to prove that I actually was there, the little gentleman there took my photo with Preeti. And this is a channel that takes water for the hydro. Lots of hydro around Pokhara. Gupteshwar Caves. It's a picture down the bottom of the caves looking through, and on the other end is Debbie Falls. Beautiful butterflies fluttering around as well. And then in the afternoon we went for a paddle on the lake. Stunning scenery. This is our little man taking us over to the temple. Again, a nice little temple complex. People tie these strings onto the tree for good luck, and beautiful flowers. We had lunch at this Gurung restaurant looking back over the lake, and this is looking up to the Peace Pagoda. We didn't go up there because it was a 45-minute hike uphill. And then in one of the shops in the evening we saw these swallows flying in and nesting, and the shopkeepers were quite happy to have them there. There was about a dozen of them in all, and that was no problem. That's the end of our time in Pokhara. Talk to you again soon.